Commander Elias Varek stared at the strange world beneath him. The planet Glycera was unlike anything humans had seen before. Towering crystalline structures stretched toward the sky, shimmering with colors that changed as the sun moved across the horizon. The air was breathable but carried a sweet metallic scent that tickled his senses. His ship, the Horizon, hovered quietly above the landing zone, its engines making a soft hum that seemed loud in the silence of the alien landscape. Elias adjusted his helmet and stepped onto the landing platform. The ground beneath him was smooth, almost glass-like, reflecting the sky in a way that made it hard to tell where the floor ended and the horizon began. He had been sent on this mission not just to explore but to make contact with the rulers of this planet, an alien race known as the Xylar. They were known across galaxies for their intelligence, their advanced technology, and their fascination with other species. As he walked, he noticed the Xylar watching him. They were taller than humans, with long, graceful limbs and skin that seemed to glow faintly under Glycera's twin suns. Their faces were elegant and symmetrical, but there was a sharpness in their eyes, a look that suggested careful calculation rather than warmth. The Xylar moved with perfect coordination, as though each step were part of a dance they had rehearsed for centuries. At the end of the platform, a massive palace rose before him. Its towers spiraled upward like frozen waterfalls, and intricate carvings covered every surface. Symbols and shapes Elias could not understand shimmered with energy, pulsing like living veins in the walls. Guards flanked the entrance, their armor reflecting the sunlight in dazzling patterns. When he reached the doors, they opened without a sound, revealing a hall that seemed impossibly large. Inside, the Xylar court was filled with light and color. The walls themselves seemed alive, shifting and changing, showing scenes from distant planets and alien civilizations. At the center, elevated on a crystalline throne, sat the alien queen Seraphina. Her presence was magnetic. She radiated authority, her posture perfect, her gaze sharp and calculating. Around her, attendants moved silently, their movements elegant and precise. Elias was led forward by a Xylar guide, who bowed deeply before stepping aside. When he reached the foot of the throne, Seraphina spoke. Her voice was melodic but firm, echoing slightly in the vast hall. "Commander Varek," she said, her eyes studying him closely. "We have observed your species with interest. Your reputation has reached us. You are known for courage, intelligence, and a certain stubbornness." Elias bowed slightly, keeping his tone respectful. "I am honored to meet you, Your Majesty. Humanity comes in peace. We seek understanding, not conflict." Seraphina smiled faintly. "Peace is admirable, but power is what makes a species remembered. I offer you a choice, Commander. You may have anything you desire here on Glycera: wealth, knowledge, or companionship." From the shadows, several Xylar attendants emerged. They moved with grace, their presence almost hypnotic. Their beauty was undeniable, their features delicate and perfect, yet there was an air of mystery about them. Elias understood immediately that this was no ordinary offer. The queen was testing him, gauging his response. He studied the attendants but did not speak. His mind raced. Accepting such an offer could gain him influence, information, or favor. But it could also mean submission, a loss of control. He had faced temptations before, but nothing like this. This was a test not of strength but of character, and Elias knew that his decisions here would echo far beyond this room. Seraphina's eyes narrowed slightly, as if she had expected hesitation. She leaned forward, resting her hands lightly on the arms of her throne. "Do you wish to have them, Commander? They are loyal, trained to serve. You could command them as you please." Elias shook his head slowly, keeping his expression neutral. "I did not come here to be served. I came to meet a ruler, not to collect treasures." A ripple of surprise passed through the court. The attendants paused, their movements frozen for a brief moment as though waiting for his next words. Seraphina's smile remained, but there was a spark of curiosity in her eyes now. "Interesting," she said softly. "Few have refused me so openly. Most would accept without hesitation. Tell me, Commander, why do you decline?" Elias took a step forward, his voice steady. "Because loyalty and respect cannot be bought or taken as gifts. True strength is not in what you offer, but in what you earn. I do not wish for companions who serve only out of obligation. I wish to understand, to learn, and to prove myself on equal terms." The Queen's expression changed subtly but noticeably. He could see the calculation in her eyes. She had offered what many would see as the ultimate reward, Yet he had refused it calmly, without anger or fear. "You are bold, human," she said finally. "Your species is fascinating. Perhaps too fascinating for your own good." Elias did not flinch. "I am only human, Your Majesty. But humans have a way of surprising others." The court murmured quietly among themselves. This human was different. He did not bend, did not bow unnecessarily, and spoke with a calm authority that was rare among Xylar visitors. Even Serafina could not hide a small trace of admiration. She leaned back slightly, gesturing toward the attendants with a delicate motion. "Very well, Commander. You may refuse them. But know this, the test is not over. To refuse a gift is simple. To prove yourself worthy of respect, that is far more difficult." Elias met her gaze without hesitation. "Then I accept the challenge, Your Majesty." A tense silence filled the hall. The attendants resumed their graceful movements, the air around the throne seeming to hum with energy. The Queen studied him, a mixture of intrigue and calculation in her eyes. "You will see soon enough," Serafina said, her voice low but commanding. "Glycera is not a world to be underestimated, and neither are the tests that await you." Elias felt a thrill of anticipation. He had come seeking understanding, and now he would face trials that would test not just his skill but his courage, his wisdom, and the very essence of what it meant to be human. As he was escorted from the throne room, he glanced back at Serafina. Her eyes seemed to follow him, sharp and unyielding. He had refused temptation, but the real challenge was only beginning. And deep down, he knew that whatever came next, humanity would prove itself worthy, not through power or beauty, but through courage, intelligence, and moral strength. The crystal doors of the throne hall closed behind him, leaving Elias alone in the long corridor, where the light danced across the walls in endless patterns. He took a deep breath. He was far from home, facing a civilization unlike any other. And yet, for the first time, he felt a surge of confidence. Humans had faced impossible odds before. They would do so again. The journey was just beginning, and Commander Elias Varric knew that the story of this encounter would be remembered, not because of the gifts he refused, but Commander Elias Varric walked down the long corridor of the crystalline palace, his footsteps echoing softly. The walls seemed alive, shifting in patterns of color and light, showing glimpses of distant stars and alien landscapes. Every corner of this palace reflected the power of the Xylar Queen, Serafina. Yet, despite the beauty and grandeur, Elias felt a quiet determination inside him. This was not a world to be intimidated by. It was a world to understand and navigate. He was led into a large chamber, unlike any room he had ever seen. The floor was a smooth, reflective surface, and above him, the ceiling stretched endlessly, glowing with a soft, pulsating light. In the center of the room floated a small, translucent orb, spinning slowly. As he approached, the orb projected a holographic image of the Queen, her eyes sharp and commanding. "Commander Varric," Serafina's voice echoed in the room, "you have chosen to refuse my gifts. That is a rare act of courage and clarity, but courage alone is not enough to earn respect here. You must prove your worth. The test will challenge your mind, your skill, and your resolve." Elias nodded, stepping closer. "I am ready." The orb split into multiple smaller spheres, each projecting a different scene. One showed a complex maze of energy barriers and traps. Another displayed a puzzle of alien symbols that shifted constantly. A third depicted a simulation of a hostile Xylar drone, advanced in speed and intelligence. Elias could feel the weight of the challenge. Each test required more than strength. It demanded strategy, observation, and adaptability. The first test began immediately. The floor beneath him shifted, opening into the maze he had seen in the orb. Walls of pure energy rose around him, glowing faintly with a bluish light. Sensors within the maze reacted to movement, and any wrong step would trigger alarms and barriers. Elias paused, studying the maze carefully. Every pattern, every faint reflection of light was a clue. He moved cautiously, placing his feet with precision. When a barrier rose suddenly in front of him, he stopped and observed its timing. Slowly, he learned the rhythm of the energy walls, moving forward with patience and focus. Hours seemed to pass, but Elias did not rush. With careful observation and calculated steps, he navigated the maze, reaching the exit without triggering a single alarm. As he stepped out, the next test began. The floor beneath him shifted again, projecting a large table filled with alien symbols and shapes. The patterns rotated and transformed continuously, and a small voice in his mind, projected by the Queen's technology, explained the task. Arrange the symbols to reveal a coherent sequence, a key to understanding Xylar logic. Elias studied the symbols. At first they seemed random, but he noticed subtle repetitions, echoes of shapes and lines that hinted at a pattern. He rearranged them slowly, testing combinations, thinking in ways that a human mind excelled at, creatively and flexibly. After several careful adjustments, the sequence aligned and a soft light confirmed his success. The final test was the most dangerous. From the shadows, a Xylar combat drone appeared. Sleek, fast, and intelligent, it analyzed Elias instantly, predicting his movements. Its weapons were non-lethal but designed to incapacitate. The room transformed into an arena, filled with obstacles and moving platforms. Elias's heart pounded, but he did not panic. He studied the drone's behavior, noticing that it relied on predictive patterns. Using his instincts and human intuition, he moved unpredictably, combining jumps, rolls, and feints. He also used the environment, reflective walls, moving platforms, and even shadows to confuse the drone. Slowly, he began to outmaneuver it, forcing it into positions where it could not anticipate his next move. The drone paused, recalculating, but Elias kept pressing forward. With a well-timed maneuver, he disabled its sensors using a reflective panel, forcing the drone to shut down temporarily. The challenge ended and the arena returned to its calm, luminous state. A voice filled the chamber. "Impressive, Commander," Serafina said, her hologram appearing once more. "You have completed the trials with skill and intelligence. You have proven that humans possess something rare: adaptability, creativity, and courage under pressure." Elias straightened, though sweat dotted his brow. "Thank you, Your Majesty." The challenges were difficult but fair. Serafina's hologram smiled faintly, a hint of approval in her gaze. Few have faced these tests and succeeded. Many would have faltered or given in to fear. You have shown the strength of your species, not through violence but through intelligence, persistence, and moral clarity. Elias felt a sense of pride, but he remained cautious. He had learned that respect in this world was earned through more than just completing tasks. It was earned through understanding, humility, and careful judgment. He looked around the chamber, observing the way the light shifted, the way the Xylar technology responded to thought and presence. "You are unlike any human I have observed," Serafina continued. "Your kind is remarkable. Humans are unpredictable, creative, and resourceful. Perhaps that is why you survive where others fail. Perhaps that is why you have captured my attention." Elias bowed slightly. "Humans have faced impossible odds before. We adapt, we learn, and we continue. That is how we survive and how we thrive." The Queen's hologram regarded him silently for a moment. Then she spoke, her tone softer, almost thoughtful. "You have earned a place here, not as a guest, but as a respected individual. I offer you knowledge and insight into Glycera if you wish. But understand this: knowledge carries responsibility. The decisions you make can affect not just you, but the future of your species." Elias nodded. "I understand. Knowledge is only valuable if it is used wisely." Serafina's hologram slowly faded, leaving the chamber in calm, pulsating light. Elias allowed himself a moment to breathe, reflecting on what had just occurred. He had faced alien challenges that tested every part of his mind and body. He had refused temptation and chosen to prove himself through action rather than acceptance of gifts. A sense of clarity settled over him. He was far from Earth, in a world that could have overwhelmed him with beauty, power, or danger. Yet he had navigated it with patience, intelligence, and courage. Humanity had shown itself capable of rising to challenges that others might have deemed impossible. As he walked back through the corridors, he realized something important. This was not just a personal victory. It was a demonstration of what humans could achieve. In a galaxy filled with advanced civilizations, humans were not the strongest or the most technologically advanced, but they were clever, adaptable, and determined. Elias stepped out onto a balcony overlooking the city of Glycera. The twin suns were setting, casting long, shimmering shadows across the crystalline towers. He felt a deep sense of purpose. The challenge was over, but the journey had just begun. Humans had earned respect here, and he would carry that honor forward, representing his species with pride and courage. For the first time since arriving, Elias allowed a small smile. The Queen's challenges had been difficult, but they had also revealed the true potential of humanity. And he knew that whatever trials awaited in the future, humans would face them with the same determination, ingenuity, and moral strength that had brought him this far. Commander Elias Varick stood at the edge of the balcony, overlooking the shimmering towers of Glycera. The twin suns were now low on the horizon, casting long shadows that stretched across the crystalline city. He felt a quiet pride in what he had achieved so far. He had faced the Queen's trials, resisted temptation, and proven the intelligence and courage of humanity. Yet he knew the final test had only begun. Respect on this world was earned, not given, and Serafina had not yet fully revealed her true challenge. A soft chime echoed through the balcony, and a Xylar attendant approached. "Commander Varick," the being said in its smooth, melodic voice, "Queen Serafina requests your presence in the Hall of Decisions. She wishes to speak with you directly." Elias nodded, following the attendant through the winding corridors of the palace. Every hallway seemed alive with shifting light and color, and he felt as if the walls themselves were observing him, measuring his reactions, judging his character. Finally, he arrived at the Hall of Decisions, a massive chamber filled with holographic displays of distant worlds, star systems, and interstellar fleets. At the center, on her elevated throne, sat Queen Serafina. Her expression was unreadable, a perfect mask of elegance and authority. The attendants moved around her in synchronized precision, but their eyes flicked toward Elias with curiosity and respect. "You have completed the challenges," Serafina said, her voice calm but firm. "Few outsiders have ever succeeded. Your species has shown qualities that even the Xylar find remarkable: courage, intelligence, and moral clarity. Yet there is one final trial." Elias stood tall, meeting her gaze. "I am ready, Your Majesty. Whatever the trial may be, I will face it." Serafina's eyes gleamed with approval. "This trial is not of skill or strength, Commander. It is of judgment and diplomacy. Across Glycera and the surrounding star systems, there are disputes and tensions among civilizations. A single wrong decision could ignite conflict or ruin alliances. You will be presented with a series of decisions, each affecting thousands of lives. You must act wisely, and you must act with the interest of fairness and justice in mind." Elias took a deep breath. This was indeed a challenge unlike any other. Strategy in combat could be learned, but moral judgment required understanding, empathy, and foresight. "I understand," he said. "I will do my best to act wisely." The chamber shifted. Holographic projections of alien species appeared, each with unique cultures, needs, and demands. The first scenario involved two neighboring planets disputing over valuable resources. One planet had abundant minerals but lacked water. The other had water but no minerals. Both sought human arbitration, hoping for a favorable decision. Elias studied the projections carefully. He considered the needs of both planets, the potential consequences of favoring one over the other, and the long-term effects on interstellar relations. After careful thought, he proposed a solution: a shared resource program that allowed both planets to benefit equally, with a neutral oversight committee to ensure fairness. The hologram shimmered, reflecting the acceptance of his proposal. Serafina's eyes sparkled faintly. "Good. You think beyond immediate gains and consider the broader consequences. That is rare, even among Xylar." The next scenario tested diplomacy under pressure. A fleet of alien ships approached a human colony, claiming it as part of their territory. Tensions were high, and any rash action could trigger conflict. Elias analyzed the situation, communicating with the human colonists and the alien fleet. He proposed a joint council, allowing both sides to negotiate openly while maintaining safety and order. His calm, measured approach diffused tensions, earning respect from both parties. "Impressive," Serafina said. "Humans are adaptable even when facing unfamiliar politics. Your species values life and cooperation, not domination. That is why you endure where others fail." The final scenario was the most personal. Serafina herself was presented as part of a hypothetical conflict, where her decisions as a ruler might cause suffering to another species. Elias was asked to advise her on a choice, whether to prioritize the expansion of her power or the welfare of a weaker species. Elias met the Queen's gaze and spoke honestly. True leadership is not about personal power. It is about responsibility, fairness, and protecting those who cannot protect themselves. I would advise a path that values life and cooperation above ambition. Serafina's expression softened. She leaned forward slightly, her piercing eyes fixed on him. You understand what many fail to grasp. That strength is not measured by control or conquest, but by wisdom, courage, and compassion. You have proven the essence of humanity. Elias bowed, humbled but confident. I am only one human, Your Majesty, but our species strives to grow, to learn, and to do what is right. That is our strength. A long silence filled the chamber. Then, with a graceful wave of her hand, Serafina signaled her attendants. Commander Varric, you have earned more than respect. You have earned trust. From this moment, humans will be seen not as outsiders, but as valued participants in the affairs of Glycera and beyond. You have shown that your species can meet challenges with intelligence, courage, and morality. The attendants stepped back, and the chamber seemed to glow brighter, reflecting the approval of the Queen. Elias felt a profound sense of accomplishment. This was more than a personal victory. It was a victory for humanity itself. Thank you, Your Majesty, Elias said sincerely. I will continue to represent humanity with honor, and I will ensure that the trust you have placed in us is not betrayed. Serafina's lips curved into a rare smile. I believe you, Commander, and I believe in your species. Humans are not the strongest, nor the fastest, nor the most advanced. Yet you endure. You survive. You inspire. That is why you have captured my attention and the attention of many across the stars. Elias felt a sense of hope swell inside him. Humanity had often been underestimated by other civilizations, but here, on a distant planet among powerful aliens, they had proven themselves. Humans were clever, adaptable, courageous, and capable of great moral judgment. They had qualities that no technology or weapon could replicate. As he left the Hall of Decisions, the corridors seemed brighter, more alive. The challenges had tested him in ways he had never imagined, but he had faced them with determination, intelligence, and integrity. And now, the respect of one of the galaxy's most powerful rulers had been earned. Outside, the twin suns dipped below the horizon, painting the crystalline city in shades of gold and violet. Elias looked toward the stars, imagining the worlds beyond, the civilizations waiting to be understood, and the adventures yet to come. He knew that the path ahead would be difficult, but he also knew that humanity had proven its worth. The trials had shown that strength alone was not enough. What made humans remarkable was their courage to stand for what was right, their creativity in solving problems, and their moral clarity even in the face of temptation. Elias smiled to himself, proud of his species and determined to continue proving that humans were not only survivors, they were leaders, thinkers and heroes in a galaxy filled with wonders. As he returned to his quarters aboard the horizon, Elias allowed himself a rare moment of reflection. The Queen's challenges were over, and the future was uncertain. But humanity had earned a place among the stars, and he knew that whatever challenges came next, humans would rise to meet them with courage, intelligence, and heart. For the first time since leaving Earth, Commander Elias Varric felt truly at home among the stars, confident that humans had a role to play not just as explorers, but as a species that could inspire, lead, and endure in a vast and wondrous galaxy.